I want to talk about future of agentic commerce, kind of introduce the idea and give you some of the demos as an update from what we presented at Redacted. So one of the kind of main stories that I've been talking about probably for the past year and a half is that AI is this final platform shift, right? We're transitioning from what effectively became our norm, right, with mobile apps and applications and websites, to really this new plane where AI becomes your interface to internet, to services and goods, to really each other, right? Like that's the change. And just as a side note, movie Her was set in 2025, so we're kind of living it now. And the important part here is that as this is happening, more and more of who you are going to be facilitated by that AI, right? And right now, these AIs are provided by different companies, and those companies always will have kind of their own profit, their own value kind of first. And so the idea that we've introduced over a year ago have been user-owned AI. Is really how do we bring AI in such a way that it is on your side? It's not really trying to maximize revenue and profit for some company, but actually maximizes your individual well-being and your individual economic success, right? This really builds up on kind of user-owned internet, maintaining full ownership of your data, assets, and power of choice that we've been always talking about as near, but also adding this idea that AI will be your universal interface. And through that interface, it needs to really be the facilitator and also firewall in many ways of how you interact with internet, right? How you interact with computing and global market. And this needs to be built in such a way that everybody can benefit from, right? Economically, the developers who build this, the services who participate in this ecosystem, and the users, right, if they're willing to share their data and kind of want to receive something in return. So that's kind of user-owned AI. We've been kind of introducing different parts of the stack. It's not, as simple like cool, it's done. It's really required a ton of work from the whole ecosystem. Now, one of the concepts we introduced at Redacted have been this idea of an assistant, right? Something that you traditionally associate maybe with ChatGPT, but the thing is like ChatGPT doesn't really do things for you, right? It usually responds, it gives information. They added like few different features, but it's mostly just an informational kind of plane. But we envision this assistant to be really able to act on your behalf in Web 2 and Web 3, right? It has all the context about you and being able to, kind of sometimes even pick actions directly, sometimes surface it to you depending on kind of complexity. But also, it's able to now make decisions and scavenge the earth and internet to find the right choice, right option for you, right? So meaning it will connect directly to other AI assistants, to other agents that are representing services and that are representing other people. So one of the points that, if you've been here a year ago, I've been talking about chain abstraction, right? And for crypto, that's probably one of the main pain points. Like there's a ton of chains, more chains launched over the past year. There's a ton of kind of different applications now everywhere, and becoming harder and harder to use all of this. And so chain abstraction, we've been kind of introducing this idea since the end of 23 to really allow everyone to use in a straightforward way all of these applications and all of these chains. And there's a ton of teams in the near ecosystem have done tremendous progress. I mean, Hod was just talking with Peter, is showing more and more exciting things there. But the kind of next step beyond that, right, is going to be AI as a final chain abstraction. It's going to be effectively on your behalf executing different actions across different chains, across different applications, and you will not even know sometimes like the details of that because it doesn't really matter, right? That's kind of, you come to these talks to learn what is going to happen in a year, right? So this is kind of the idea. This is where the whole space is going to be going. So just to give you like a visual example, right? Your assistant effectively on the background will be, doing different actions, right? I was planning to come here, so we'll be finding what is the best when to buy the tickets for me for the travel. On the background, it will, I like metal concerts, so finding the metal concert as soon as it opens up, buy the ticket for it. And, rebalance my stablecoin in different borrowing markets based on different APIs as they're changing, right? Again, you don't need to go and manually change this. You don't even need to do it through wallet, where it's now easier, so kind of chain abstraction, but actually it will just do it on you on behalf because it knows that's the action you would take if it was yourself. So that's kind of the idea, kind of where we're going, right? It's a number of agents effectively on the back end working on your behalf, executing different actions, and your assistant coordinating this and really surfacing all of this and augmenting it with your context. So what do we need to do to actually enable this future, right? Well, if you've seen any of my presentations, there's always a stack. So this is a stack to enable that. First and foremost, we need to make sure that all of this is confidential and secure, right? Effectively, right now, when you're using any of the AI models, right, you're giving all your data to some company, which may or may not handle it very carefully. There's have been leaks, and people have access to other people's data and different AI assistants. And importantly, as you're putting more and more of your context, right? Maybe this is your medical records, your banking information, so you can actually do automatic taxes. Maybe it is actually listening to every second of your life, because now that's a full context to enable the best predictions. Well, you don't want that to be owned by anyone. You don't want it to go to anywhere, right? So it's extremely important that this is all fully confidential and every single action is secured. Now, as this kind of agentic network growing, it needs to have a hosting platform where all of these agents will live. We need a way to share the data, share the kind of user information, so different agents can interact on this, and your AI assistant is able to really leverage it. You need to have a way for your assistant to find what are the agents out there, so agent discovery. And finally, all those agents, they are, as we said, importantly making money, so there needs to be a payment system. So one of the things we've been working on is so-called decentralized confidential machine learning cloud, right? So this is, if you've seen my Twitter, I talk about TEs a lot. This is the idea that we can actually run the machine learning models, like the LLM models as well as any other model, inside the secure enclave, the trusted execution environment, in such a way that you have very little overhead on the execution, and everything is end-to-end confidential, right? Not person who runs the hardware, not developers, not the model builder are able to access what happens inside this confidential VM. And so around this, you can build a whole cloud where you have confidential VMs with GPUs and without, that actually can run agent code that runs inference on different models. And all of this is end-to-end encrypted. You need kind of on-chain payments and registry to coordinate all this. And all of this kind of enables this confidentiality. I'm not going to go too much into this because it's an agent commerce talk, but this is kind of one of the fundamental blocks to enable this. Now, agent hosting we introduced at Redacted, and since then we've launched a few hackathons, which people kind of continuously building more agents. Really exciting to see over 475 agents now built here. Obviously, there's a lot of example agents. There's now platform that builds agents itself. And this is actually, think of this as your application store, right? Where each agent is a kind of some capability or new information or a new way to use your user's data to execute things, right? This can be anything from a product manager agent to an agent that helps you with shopping. So if you haven't seen it, go to AppNet Near the AI. There's a way to create agents, and this kind of platform continues to evolve. So every agent here will be hosted inside secure enclaves, and so you're able to kind of interact and transact with them in a privacy way. Now, what we're releasing today is a agent interaction and transaction protocol. So this is kind of the protocol to enable agents to actually not just talk to each other, and not just call tools, but support payments, support transactions, support exchanging information, right? And this is extensible standard, right? This is kind of a new way, think of this as HTTP, which enables agents now to communicate to each other in a structured way. And it has kind of capabilities as extensions. You can introduce new ones as a developer. And again, think of them as headers in HTTP for developers in the room, where you can keep adding more functionality to it and leveraging it for a structured interaction between agents. It also supports not just one-on-one agent. You can have a whole group of agents talking together in one effectively chat group and interacting. They can add new agents into this thread and kind of provide you a whole host of kind of capabilities to really create this kind of future where agents are now doing things on the background and you are not really directly interacting with this. So this is pretty abstract, I realize, and so is many of my talks. And let's see if we can get a demo going. Cool. So this is a demo. And is there a way to play it? Okay. I guess. All right. So this is a demo where, first of all, you can check out the specific agent we're going to use, which is SoundSage, an expert in buying audio equipment. And so it's deployed already on the kind of agent hosting platform. And now you're going to actually not directly talk to it. You don't even maybe know it exists. Instead, you're talking to your assistant, right? This is an assistant that will navigate all of your kind of internet applications and agent needs. And so you go and you say, hey, I want to shop for green headphones. It itself has some information already, right? It's it's an AI model. It has context. It can actually fetch data potentially from other places. And so it gives you a quick response from that, but you can say like, no, I actually want some cheaper headphones. And so what happens here, you see this like two. We'll scroll through this, but there was a message, effectively a subthread created where a SoundSage agent was called, and then the SoundSage agent replied back with a whole selection of products to choose from. And so user selected them, and then added pretty much initiated buy flow, which asks them for address where to send it. Again, this was communicated as a SoundSage agent, and you get effectively a payment request. And so this payment request, asking for $11, which you can now pay with your kind of Meteor wallet with your stablecoins. This itself will effectively pay the agent, which will receive this money, and then the agent itself will go and use Amazon API to actually ship you the headphones. And you get an order ID that you can now track. And so this conversation itself, right, is an example of kind of AITP interaction, where some of this was a natural language, some of this was a structured data, right, specific information to select from products, payment requests, information exchange for address. And all of that was actually done by your assistant in a subthread with the agent, where you just kind of interacting directly with your assistant. Again, you don't even know there is another agent involved. We kind of show those subthreads only in the developer side. On kind of user side, you will not even see that. So that kind of the experience that we're going after, right? Where your assistant effectively can go now and find specific agents who have specific skills, talk to them, inform them maybe with some of your context, with information that you have. If we actually go to next, can we go back to slides? Yeah. So so like you as a user, you go to your assistant. Your assistant then, using your memory, can either respond directly, maybe can use some other tools, or can go to a discovery agent and ask it, which agents would be useful to reply to this request. discovery agent itself has an index of all agents that are hosted in the platform. We also want to have actually a federated model where other agents as well will be contributed to this index. And in this discovery agent effectively says, hey, SoundSage and this shopping assistant are useful agents for this request. Let me add them to this thread with the user, right, and kind of remove myself. And so then those agents can now reply with structured information, with maybe clarifying questions, maybe with request for payment or any other kind of interaction. Like this agents can be effectively your rebalancing lending market agent that now runs every hour to rebalance your portfolio, right? This can be any agent now can run, and your assistant is kind of coordinating them. So that's the idea of kind of AITP to really interconnect all of these agents, and then discovery to help find where are specialized agents in the ecosystem. So to kind of link it back, all of this, built on top of all of the blockchain infrastructure we've been building at Near, right? Obviously, I mean, if you've been here before, you've heard from Bowen to continue scaling the blockchain, really to enable it to handle more and more payment requests, more and more inter-chain requests, agents that have their hosting. We have shade agents where like you have smart contract and the kind of this TE hosting platform interacting together. We have a chain abstraction tech, which is a combination of chain signatures and intents to really enable this kind of really simple interaction. For example, you got onboarded on Base with USDC, and you want to pay for something that's in Solana, right? All of that gets completely abstracted out. You don't even need to think about this. And finally, the TE infrastructure that I talked about, this cloud that really enables to run effectively anything in verifiable, confidential way, but specifically machine learning AI loads. So that's kind of like a multi-purpose, protocol that we've been building with Near over past, years to really enable this vision and really interconnect these pieces. And we're going to do a whiteboard to actually explain how all of this fits. Now, it's not just kind of Near AI building this. There's a ton of teams building. Like some of them are here contributing. There's a lot more partners as well that didn't fit on a slide. So really exciting to see kind of all of this community coming together and building. Now, I just want to finish on this last thought, which is this is kind of a massive shift in how everything is done in your life, right? Like you go from, hey, I have, dozens of apps that I'm using my credit cards everywhere, to really this kind of platform shift that enables, among other things, to kind of really power everything with crypto rails, but importantly, to transition to effectively a single interface that's on your side. That's not trying, again, you go to google.com, google.com is trying to make money off you, right? You're the product, you're not the user. The users are advertisers. And so this is kind of the platform shift we see. And that itself, right now, that economy itself is a $1 trillion of kind of a year of business opportunity to really transition into kind of this new AI commerce and user-owned internet. So I'm really excited. We're making progress. There's a ton of pieces kind of coming together. It's been a lot of kind of building out these protocols and systems to enable this. But we are now see this kind of in production. We have this, first agents really making real actions in the world. We have partnerships coming together to enable this. So really exciting. Stay tuned. Stay for the whiteboard to explain how some of the tech works. Thank you. You wanna?